Hi guys. Okay, we're back. Just to do a quick recap, we're kind of exploring a conversation. I'd love to start a conversation with you guys about toxic relationships and what that means to you. And is this just a buzzword that has kind of caught on in society where we can now have something else to label people as, or is this a real thing? And so I've done a lot of research, and like I mentioned, my one of my very favorite fitness professionals, Jill Coleman, got my wheels turning about this a couple weeks ago with her blog post on toxic relationships. And I did some research since then. And I have formed three different categories that I think we fall into when we start labeling people as toxic relationships. And I would love your feedback on what you think is accurate, as well as what you want to disagree with me about. Because like I said, this is my theme for the week. This is my research project for this week, is on uncomfortable situations and toxic relationships. So well, if we look at basically the three categories, I got into it when we were live earlier, but 1% of the population is actually like medically psychotic. So there's that 1% that may be a toxic relationship that we have no control over. So I'll give that 1% to science and for the purposes of conversation. Hi, Julie. Nice to see you here. I would love to, just stay in reality about toxic relationships and what that means. And my next example, I think there's a whole nother category where technically you can have two people come together that they're not toxic people, but it can create a toxic relationship when they interact with each other. And I think that that's very powerful to be aware of because, middle school science experiments, if you put vinegar and baking soda inside of a container, you're going to have a volcanic eruption. And I think it really is that simple. We don't have to overcomplicate things. Sometimes if I'm baking soda and someone else is vinegar, there's going to be an eruption. That's just the laws of science. And if you think about it, vinegar by itself is not bad. It's not toxic. It's actually one of the safest things to clean your windows with. And baking soda is not toxic. You can actually put it on your toothbrush. It's safe enough to ingest. They are not toxic materials. They are not toxic people in this example. But when combined, they do create an eruptive interaction. So I think that sometimes there can be relationships labeled as toxic where maybe it's just not the right combination, and it's not about who's right and who's wrong and all of that stuff. So hi, Bridget. I love the concept of taking responsibility for knowing ourselves and knowing who we thrive around and knowing who makes us volcanic, I guess. And then the third category that I wanted to bring up for conversation is around the idea of being addicted to the drama. So looking at sometimes there can be addictive behavior patterns in relationships, and if the drama is what fuels you, and if you're not fighting, you're not sure what to do, or like pushing somebody's buttons is a subconscious way that you're trying to show them that you love them and that you know them. Like, hey, I know you hate when I do this, and not many people do that. Not many people know that you hate this. And so you push that button and it doesn't come across in a loving way, even though maybe your intention was not to be disruptive to their pattern. You may all of a sudden fall in a category where someone's like, that is a toxic relationship. This person always pushes my buttons. And, so giving ourselves permission to take responsibility for how we behave. And hey, Kim, I see you on here. I love that you're here. Taking responsibility for ourselves and how we create toxic behavior patterns and toxic interactions. And I'm using that word toxic all the time because I feel like as a relationship coach, I'm seeing it everywhere. It's all over the place. How to know 35 signs you know you're in a toxic relationship. 10 signs that, you need to jump ship and abandon things. And I think there's more possibility in here than the 1% statistically, like I shared with you guys earlier, that scientifically is psychotic. So when you think about, are you just excited about the controversy of, or the excitement around controversy? Do you like arguing? If you know that about yourself, then you can choose to show up in a way where people know this about you and they can look forward to a debate instead of feeling threatened or attacked. And you can be honest and clear about how you're showing up. Like, hey, I kind of fall in that category. I'm going to be totally upfront with you guys. I'm asking for a conversation about this. I know there's people that are going to disagree with how I've presented things or what I haven't brought a viewpoint to the table yet because I'm trying to start a conversation around this. But when I do form an opinion, I know there's going to be people that disagree with me. And the thing is that a toxic relationship it's not around disagreeing viewpoints. That's not how the word is being used these days. And so I would challenge you guys to get back in touch with yourselves and really look at the most painful relationships you have in your life, because a relationship is really simple. There's a really easy formula, and I'm going to give it to you guys right now. It's you plus them equals the relationship. So if you change, if you shift, the relationship has to. And that's a really powerful place to be. The other side is that if they don't shift with you, then you don't have to stay in something that you may be called toxic. If it truly is, there are abusive relationships. There are lots of bad relationships out there that are dangerous and not good. So there's all of that. But I'm just really trying to start a conversation around the idea of this toxic relationship thing that I keep seeing everywhere. And I want to make sure I understand what it means to you. So I would love, if you're watching this, comment below. Let me know what you agree with about what I said, what you disagree with about what I said. Have you even heard that word? Do you not know that word? Let me know where you stand with it, because it's something that I think is a real shame, because toxic relationships, the general idea of what that description means to people when they hear it, is something I'm trying to change in this world. So I appreciate you guys helping me by informing me and educating me about your situation and your opinion. And I will look forward to talking more about this in the near future. Okay. Mwah. Bye, guys.